Dzina langa ndine Gabriel Kamlomo, ndipo lero ndabweranso ndi programu ina ya Zodiak Exclusive. Mu Zodiak Exclusive lero tili ndi mdindo pakati pathu amene ndi mdalitso. Munthu ameneyu ndi lawyer wodziwika bwino, anakhalapo attorney general, ndipo pa nthawi ina anakhalapo judge kubwalo lalikulu lotsiriza mdziko lino, Supreme Court of Appeal. Mdindo ameneyu anakhalapo so wapampando wa bungwe lija la Malawi Electoral Commission, ndipo ndi bishop wa mpingo wa Christ Citadel, komanso mmene tikuyankhulana panomu mdindoyu ndi wachiwiri kwa mtsogoleri wa dziko lino. Takulandirani Dr. Jane Ansah.
Zikomo.
Kodi dzina limene ndalitchula bwino ndi Jane Ansah o Ansah? Timatchula mosiyana-siyana ku nyumba zofalitsa nkhani.
Ndi Jane Mayemu Ansah.
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 Ansah. Lero tadziwa ndinu munthu amene mwachita zazikulu kwambiri mdziko lino, monga mmene ndafotokozera. Ndimafuna kuti ndidziwe kuti this story of your life mumangoiona ngati basi ndimene zimayenera kukhalira, what have you been through? Ndikukamba zimenezi kupempha kuti mukamayankha mumuyankheso wachinyamata amene ali uko, amene mwina panopa they are trying to find their feet and akuona kuti kodi is the sky really the limit?
Story ya moyo wanga ndi combination ya zinthu zingapo. Poyamba anthu kuti tichite bwino, kuyambira tili ang'ono timayenera kuti tidzilandira uphungu wabwino kuchokera kwa makolo. Ndikati kwa makolo kuyambira bambo ndi mayi, komanso amakolo ngati agogo ndi ena otere. Ndiye amenewo ndi amene amachita shape moyo wako wapatsogolo. Ineyo ndine munthu wodalitsika chifukwa ndinali ndi makolo amene amatipatsa mwambo. Ndikuwuzani chinthu chimodzi, ku nyumba kwathu tsiku lina lililonse anatiwuza kuti chakudya chizikhala chili ready 6 o'clock. Tikadya timapita kutsuka mbale, kukonza ku kitchen, zonse kutha. Ikamafika 7:30 ndiye kuti tapita ku kumano wa madzulo. Pa mkumano umenewo amatiphunzitsa zinthu zitatu. Choyamba, bambo anga amafunsa za kusukulu, komanso anagula mabuku ambirimbiri, ndiye kuti tsiku lililonse akufunsa kuti wawerenga machapter angati. Akangobwera timakapereka mabuku, iwo nkumawerenga machapter amene oti wawerenga. Ndiye amafunsa mmodzi, wawerenga zoti chani? Ngati unanama ndiye kuti ayimbama ikupeza. Ndi mbali yoyamba. Gawo lachiwiri amatiphunzitsa kakhalidwe, kunena kuti kodi ndi anthu timakhala bwanji. Ndikukumbuka anatiwuza kanthu kamodzi, ananena kuti pakamwapa patha kukudyetsani, komanso pakamwapa patha kukupangitsani kuti mukhale mundende. Komanso ananena kuti mukadzayamba ntchito lemekezani bwana wanu. You don't lose anything if you say yes sir, yes madam. Akuti olo munthu uyakoneka kuti ndiwopusa kwamene ulemekezani mpando. Komalizira kachitatu amatiuza mawu a Mulungu, timayimba nyimbo tikupemphera, tikatero ndiye kuti tikagona. Ndiye ndikuona kuti kwakukulu ndi kaleredwe. Komanso akamatiuza za sukulu zija amatitambasulira za ntchito zosiyana-siyana. Komanso amalozera kwa anthu amene ali ma role models. Ndikukumbuka amatichita bambo anga anagwirako ku court ngati court interpreter. ndamatifotokozera mmene maloyers amagwirira ntchito, amatifotokozera, ndiye ankatichita encourage kuti wina wa inu adzatenge law. Ndi amatibweretsera kutiwozera anthu ngati loya woyamba wamkazi amene anagwira ntchito Malawi muno anali a Violet Gondwe. Koma woyambirira anali Dr. Nyamazawo Maliwa. Ndiye amatifotokozera kwabweretsa ku nyumba timacheza nawo. Ndiye kuti ndi zimenezi timakonzeretsedwa. Kenanso ife tilipo ana 8. Oyamba atsikana 3, azimayi tsopano magogo. Omalizira timanena kuti the boys anyamata 5. Ndiye samasiyanitsa. Ife amatiuza tikatsuke galimoto, tikasinthe tayala, anyamatanso tikamakonola tsokwe, timakonola nawo side by side. Timaphikira limodzi. Ina zichimwe nanga mapanga chene chilichonse ku kitchen. Ndiye chifukwa chimenecho tinaona kuti tinakula, tikuzindikira kuti palibe kusiyana pakati pa mwana wa mwamuna ndi wamkazi, komanso palibe kunena kuti ichi sindingathe. Amakana kuti noti ndinene kuti munthu anene kuti sindingathe, amanena kuti china chicho senchotheka.
Lero ndinu wachiwiri kwa mtsogoleri wa dziko lino la Malawi. Patano miyezi iwiri, pafupifupi miyezi iwiri, chilowereni mu office. Ntchito mwayiyamba bwanji?
Inetu ntchito ndayiyamba bwino. Choyamba chimene ndinaziuza ndikupita ku constitution ya Malawi kukaona kuti kodi job description ya VP ndi chani. Mu constitution mwathu mulibe job description, koma imati a president amapanga delegate ntchito yoti ugwire. Ndizoona kuti pakakhala kuti iwo atalikira, iwe ulowe ugwire ntchito yawo. Ndiye chifukwa chimenecho ndalowa ndikuzindikira udindo wanga. Koma ku office ya VP anayikakonso department ya public sector reforms imene ili kuno. Pamenepo ndi pamene ndayambira.
Ndizotani zimene mwachita mu office imene? Nkhani yakuti office ya vice president ndi delegated office pena tikambira nabe, koma tikambe nkhani iyi imene mwakamba zakuti kuli department ina imene kuyang'ana za ma reforms. Ndi zotani zimene zachitika pa nthawi imene inu mwabwera zokhudzana ndi department imeneyo ya ma reforms?
Ndinanena za delegated authority kunena kuti tizidziwa eti, kunena kuti poyambira ndipati. Pamene ndabwera ndinakumana ndi onse amu office ya VP ndi ya kuma reforms. Choyamba ndinafunsa kuti kodi ndilandire report chifukwa nkhani ya ma reforms inayambatu pakanthawi. Oyamba I think amene anapatsidwa udindo umenewo is the late VP Chilima. Ndipo ndinadziwa kuti mwina panali ntchito imene inachitika imene yakhale kupitirira. Ndiye ndinafunsa kuti ndidziwe kuti kodi za ma reform zili pati. Panopo moti anandipatsa report ndikuwerenga.
Mukana werengabe?
Ndidakawerengabe, koma tikati public sector ndiye kuti ndi onse amene amagwira ntchito yokhudza aliyense Malawi muno, koma akulipiridwa ndi boma. Si kuti ndi makampani akunja, koma ngati ma parastatals, ma ministries onse, ma department onse, ndiye kunena kuti kumene koko kukhale ma reform kuti kukhale transformation, kukhale kusinthika kwabwino. Ndiye choyamba chimene ndaona ndikunena kuti zinthu zikhale bwino kumafunika kuti anthu ipange invest mwa anthu, chifukwa anthu ndi amene amagwira ntchito. Ndiye choyamba ndakhala ndikuyang'ana kuti kodi ku civil service makamaka ku department ya human resource management and development kuli zinthu zili bwanji, chifukwa tikayang'ana kumene koko ndi kumene kuli kutsinde olo kumizu yake yonena kuti public sector ichite bwino. Ndiye ndikumene ndikwamba ndikuyang'ana, sinalandire zambiri koma ndikuyang'ana kuti andipatse maripoti mmene zilili.
The instruction imene nali in the public domain yochokera ku office ya president kupita ku office ya vice president amene sanali chair wa ma reforms at the time amene mwachula the late Saulos Chilima was kuti akapanga ntchito imeneyi idzaperekedwa kugulu kwa anthu kuti anthu adziwe kuti ndi chani chimene adapeza. Have you made a decision on this particular aspect?
Ayi, ndipo namva kuti kunali ripoti ilo lilipo ndipo ndamvetsedwa kunena kuti libwera. Sindinalione ripoti yonseyo. Just this morning andiuza kuti ripoti yo yabwera.
Lili mu office iti?
Linapita ku office.
Linali ku office. Now, what are the priorities that you have set in your office? Munkhani yokhuzana ndi ma reform, bit without that report yet. Ma priorities amene muli nawo kale walking into this office ndotani?
The priority is to look at the Department of Human Resource Management and Development. Mukona, management and development. And when I look, what is the objective of these reforms? The objective is efficiency, effectiveness, transparency, and timely delivery of services. Now, for us, you look at today, we'll look at immigration, how effective it is, whether the delivery of services are timely, road traffic, and others. So, to me, human resource is very, very important, because that is what can turn things around. What from outside just observing is that I have observed something that the international organizations, I would not say they poach civil servants, but the people have left the civil service and they have gone into international organizations, and overnight they are star performers. What is it that makes the same people who are working as civil servants not perform? Obviously, people will say, no, the salaries are very small.
I was going to say that.
No, people should not work for salaries. People should work because they love their job. People should work because they love Malawi. For example, if it's at immigration, how happy, if I was working there, would I be if I see people waiting for not days, not weeks, for months? How do I feel? We must know it's a service, and someone is waiting to receive that service, and they must receive it timely.
Sometimes people would say, well, the efficiency may be on the lower side because perhaps the tools are not there, maybe the expertise are not there.
That's not true. How qualified are you to work as a journalist? We are not short of professionals and experts in Malawi. But it's because the people think they are working for money, not that they are enjoying their profession. From the first time I started coming here, I come. And as I come, I generate the work. I did not find anyone to do handover to me. I came into an empty office. The first thing I have to look at files, because there's definitely files, there are files in an office, and I should see what I should do. So the people, most people are not self-motivated.
But you just said, Vice President, that you've made an observation that people leave the civil service and go elsewhere where they perform. Have you tried to find out why people leave the civil service?
It's not that there are many people that leave the civil service. Normally, there are always greener pastures. But for them to be accepted where the greener pastures are, it's because they are in the government, they are doing a certain job, they are called by a certain position.
Right.
And when you look, what is done is not much. I was the Attorney General, and I saw, the state advocates working hard. I always encouraged them to work for their profession and not for money. I don't even recall that since I started working over 42 years ago, whether I worked for overtime. No. I found joy in seeing work done. When I started work with the Ministry of Justice as a state advocate, the section that was doing very well those work was the criminal section. And I saw that the civil section was not doing a lot of work. I went and I would go to the civil section, take out some files and look at them. And I found that garages and others were supposed to pay industrial levy. And most of them were not paying. On my own, I got into the car and visited the garages in Birongwe and made them pay, even arrears. There's a lot of money that we can get. As a civil servant, we are always asking for higher pay, higher pay, higher pay. But one of the presidents of America said, do not ask what America will do for you, but ask what you can do for America.
Right.
And that it takes you working because you love the job and not the money. I'm not saying money is irrelevant. It is relevant. It contributes to people maybe working hard. But why is it that someone who was maybe looked upon as an non-performer, overnight they are transformed? Even some Malawians are being deported. The reason why? The locals in those countries, they find that they are not getting jobs because people prefer the Malawians. A Malawian outside is a hard worker, is a bulldozer.
Would I therefore be right to say you would be keen to see the contents of this report because it will help in your quest to improve the civil service?
Definitely. That's why I have called for it. That's where I begin. Let me see what my predecessors did, because in life, you cannot always start from a foundation. Someone dug the foundation, they started building. You come in, someone will come and will build. Let's take a building to the window level. You start from the window level. You are not going to undo and say, I will start from the foundation. That is why, before I can go very far, I must know what has already been done, and then take it from there. If there are other contributions that I bring, I will bring them. But I cannot ignore the work that is already done.
Right. You are the second woman to occupy this seat in this country after Dr. Joyce Banda. Are there specific things you come with in this office that target women and women improvement in various sectors of life?
Yes, in the public reform, in the public service, it looks at everybody. I don't think there's anywhere where they say we are getting women or men only. but I know that affirmative action has worked for women before. What I would encourage other women is that in whatever profession we are, we must do our best and be visible. We must
mwina
work hard.
kulifunsaso funso limene nchelewa kunena kuti kodi inuyo ngati munthu maganizo anu ndi otani pa nkhani ya amayi kuchita bwino mdziko lathu kukhala ndi maudindo akuluakulu ngati mmene muli lino lero ndi zina ndi chani chimene mwakuonza mu ofesi mwanu deliberately kuti mwina liwu ndi nkhope ya mzimayi ionekere given the environment that we are in panopa?
Chimene ndikukonzekera ndi chakuti azimayi adziwe kunena kuti iwo palibe chowaletsa kuti afike pa udindo wina uliwonse. Ndipo mu ofesi mwanga muli ofesi ya ofisa ochita dilo ndi za azimayi. Ndiye kuti tidzaona maprogramu onena kuti tathandizira azimayi. Anthu ambiri akamva maprogramu amaganiza kuti iyayi kapena ndalama kapena chiyani. Iyayi mukudziwa kuti nzeru ndi chinthu chapamwamba kwambiri. Chifukwa munthu akakhala ndi nzeru ndiye kuti akapanga right choices, akakhala munthu ozindikira oganizira. Mmene mwanena chonchi kunena kuti Her Excellency retired Joyce Banda nawonso ndi amene anayamba kukhala pa udindo umenewo. Ndimaona kuti ndi munthu onena kuti palibe choti chingaletsa. Ndikukumbukira nthawi ina timakambirana pakanthawi ndithu kuti anapita kumaliro kwina kwake. Ndiye kumene kuja anamwalira I think ndi munthu wamkazi akumanda kaya amatani kumafuna kukana kukwirira maliro. Iwo anango auza anthu kuti azimayi tiye titenge mafosholo tikwirire. Anatenga mafosholo anakwirira. Zinthu ngati zimenezi zonena kuti pali zintchito zimangochitika kuti zina zake amuna amachita akazi amachita, koma sinde kuti mamuna sangaphike, mamuna sangalere mwana, komanso sinde kuti mkazi sangakumbe manda. Inene kesi akazi kuti makumba manda. Mwana oti wapitirira sindi makumba manda. Nanga manda munthu wankulu akati kanike. Zimene zizi ndi zimene ndifuna kuti tiziawuza azimayi kunoti adzidziwa kuti china chilichonse nchotheka. Ndipo kuti pali udindo wa azimayi amene ali mu ofesi muno, ndiye kuti tidzafikira azimayi ndi mauthenga abwino komanso kumafikira kuti tathandize munjira zina.
Ngati Vice President mwakhalapo ndi say mu zinthu ngati mwina mmene akupangira formulate cabinet president?
Ndingana kuti ndakhala ndi say. Chifukwa chakuti ndinafunsidwa kunena kuti tipereke ngati pali anthu othekera tipereke ma CV, ndipo tinapereka ma CV.
Ndikufunsa chonchi without wanting you to delve too much into it, koma ndikufunsa chifukwa cha nkhani imene inatuluka yatamaliza ndandanda onse wa cabinet uja pa nkhani yomweyo yokhudzana ndi amayi kupezeka mu cabinet. I think namba yake mwina sikupitirira 5 ngati ndikukumbukira bwino.
Mukaona mu cabinet moja choyamba chimene tizindikire ndi kuti cabinet ija ndi yaying'ono, anthu 16 ndi mavice ndi ahechi tonse tufika 23 24.
Yeah.
Ndiye ma ministries aja ndakuluakulu. Ndiye ndikukhulupirira kuti echi amayang'ana kuthekera kwa munthu. Komanso mukaona ndi achipani. Ndiye mukaona nambala ya azimayi amene awina ngati a DPP ndiocheperako. Komanso kuyang'ana ma CV. Ndiye chimene His Excellency akufuna achite ndichonena kuti cabinet ija ikhale cabinet yonena kuti igwira ntchito ndi kuchita transform positively zinthu zambiri. Ndiye ndi chifukwa chake. You know, nthawi zambiri timangoti taganizira azimayi, taganizira azimayi. Tingotenga azimayi chifukwa choti taganizira azimayi. We do not do a good job. Because by the end of the day, people will say women don't perform. I remember during the time of Kamuzu, there was a time that he made a deliberate effort to promote women in the civil service. I was at P7. I was promoted to the same grade of P7. So someone said, you tell them that, go and tell them, I think that you're already at P7, you should go down. I said, no, I don't want. I want to be promoted on merit. I didn't complain.
That's interesting.
I was happy.
Right.
I said, I want to be promoted on merit. So if I haven't performed, I don't mind, I'll remain. But to be promoted because I'm a woman, no.
Right. Nkhani ina imene ndimafuna ndikufunsa ni right honorable, ndi nkhani yokhudzana ndi umodzi, unity mdziko lathu. There's a view on the street kuti mwina chifukwa cha ndale mdziko lino anthu unity inakhala ngati inasokonekera. Are you worried about this as vice president? And how do you hope, if you are, kuti zinthu zikhoza kukhala bwino monga kale kale? Poyamba, do you agree kuti mwina anthu the unity that used to be there may no longer be there?
You know, people, because of technology and the use of social media, a lot of things that are not right, they circulate. For me, I would say the unity is there. Where did the DPP get a lot of votes? In the north, in the south, in the east.
Some people think it was protests because people did not like the previous administration. Not necessarily that we are one.
It's not strange.
No.
You know, voting is always a protest, isn't it? We change leaders in a protest. If they have not delivered, you change. And that is what democracy is all about. We had this person has not delivered, I am protesting, I will show that person with my vote.
By kicking them out.
Yes, by taking them out. So it's a protest. So it is not strange. It is not strange. That's what it is all about.
Right. Well, the issues that are boggling people's mind, panopa kwambiri mdziko lino, zikuoneka kuti nkhani yokhudzana ndi chakudya, nkhani yokhudzana ndi fuel, nkhani yokhudzana ndi fertilizer, forex. But later una nkhani zokhudzana ndi magetsi, madzi. Now, what as bishop, a person who believes, do you see things things getting worse before they get better?
No, things will not get worse. They will get better. And the work has already started. Maize distribution has started in Machinga, and it will go to all other places. By government declaring a crisis in 11 districts, it means something is happening. And the declaration is based on the percentage of farming families that do not have food. International, it is agreed that 20% above those farming families that have got no food in the areas where you have this, it means it is a crisis, it is a disaster. They need help. But the less than 20%, it doesn't mean that they will not be assisted, because there are still people where there's less than 20% who do not have food. That those will also be provided for. Fertilizer has started coming. The only thing is that this lack of food in Malawi has not been just for 1 year. It has been for years. So it will take time maybe to get to that place where we have food sufficiency as we had before.
Will that time, you think, be in your time?
Oh, in my time. We are having this season. Next season, we'll have plenty. We'll have enough food in the country.
Mwafikako kumalo kumene mwina anthu amenewa akusowa chakudya kwa ali. I know pangupita miyezi iwiriyo. And I also know kuti pali desire government, the state, kuti mwina samangoenda ena vali koseya. Kuma have you had time kuna kupita kukaona ena mwa anthu amene report imene ikunena?
Tinafika kukali. Kodi mmene timapanga kampeni muja. Tikamane kuti kulibe chakudya. Nangati malota ngati. Inetu naenda kunsanje. Anthu amadandaula chakudya. Osati kudandaula kokha. You could see anthu onena kuti sana aje. Osati tsiku limodzi koma masiku angapo. Kutyolo, kumulanje ndinafika. Kuchitipa, kukalonga, kwina kulikonse kumene tinaponda. Akamati amfumo akutilandira kunali kudandaula za njala. Kunali kudandaula za fetereza. So chifukwa choti tinaona kale amene ali ndi udindo omagwira ntchito imene amene ali aku agriculture. Iwowo akudziwa kale monga ifenso tikudziwa. Ndi chifukwa chake sipadapite nthawi yayitali kuti adziwe kuti kodi kumene kwavuta kwambiri ndikuti. Ife tonse mmene timathamanga timaona kuti pali mavuto amene.
Ndikunena nkhani imene vice president chifukwa chakuti kuli madera kumene anthu amene wanachita kulembedwa ndipo akudziwa kuti amene adzalandire thandizo chifukwa cha vuto limene lagwa ndi anthu awa. Koma mkati mwawo muli anthu ena amene mwina pa ndandanda amene mulibepo koma akunena kuti they feel kuti ali ndi vuto lofunika thandizo. How do you intend to reach out to such?
Kodi pakamabwera china chilichonse kuti mukafike pamalo pali ndondomeko zache. Mafumu sinde kuti ndi dzina lokha. Mafumu aja amakhala okhudzidwa ndi anthu awo akamasowa. Ndikukumbuka panali clip ina fumu ine ikulira kuti kodi anthu anga ndipanga nawo bwanji. I think kunali kumachinga. Kulira misozi kuti ndo anthu andifera ine. Ndi mafumu aja amakhala okhudzidwa ndiponso amadziwa kunena kuti amene ali ovutikitsitsa ndi awo. Kuvutika akutu kuli kosiyana-siyana. Ena ndi ovutikitsitsa, ena ndi ovutika, ena ndi opeza bwino, ena ndi opeza bwino. Ndiye munthu oti wangochokera mu office ku Capitol Hill. So ungapite ku Mangochi kufika pamudzi kuti tandiuzani ali ndi njala ndani. Ndiye kuti akupatsa molakwika. Koma mmafunsa afumu. Afumu tabwera tili ndi chikonzero chakuti mutipatse ndandanda wa anthu amene ali ovutika osowa chakudya. Ndi chimodzimodzi mmene zimapangira za fetereza wa subsidy ucha. Kunena kuti ndi mafumu omwe amapereka mayina. Ndipo nena kuti sitingangoyika kuti fumu iliyonse panga chilungamo ilembera aliyense nangasi anthu. Mwina ena amadana nawo akuti amene wasindalemba koma sindikhulupirira kuti zimenezo zilipo.
Ndikutengeni pambali pang'ono tinakambapo zonena kuti chipewa china chimene mumavala chipewa cha bishop wa mpingo wa Christ Citadel. Pano ndinu vice president. Mukumapanga jago bwanji zinthu zimene zifo zikuoneka kuti zonsezi ndizofunika presence yanu kwambiri.
Yoyamba ineyo ndine senior pastor. Komanso mwina sindingalolede kufunsani mafunso. Koma nonse muli pano sindinu akhristu. Tikakhala kuti kaya ndife akhristu kaya ndife achisilamu, aliyense amadzikonzera moyo wake wakumwamba. Ndiye kuti tsiku lonse mmawerenga mawu, mmapemphera. Ndiye presence ya bishop or senior pastor ndiyotani. ife tuchalichi chathu is well organized. Pali tili ndi ma offices administration amene amapanga administration, kuli accounts offices, komanso timachita work pali presbytery, pali executive council. So it's not a one-man show. Malawi muno we have got over 90 branches. Kwina kuli koseko akugwira ntchito.
Koma shuwale pa flow yonse ya mpingo wa Christ Citadel, you are a senior pastor. That's not for nothing. Ndakuti mnani ntchito imene mmagwira specifically as a senior pastor. Imene kuchoka kwanu ngati mwachoka ndikuti pali gap kuli ma senior pastor ngati.
Kumalawi kuno kuli ma senior pastor angapo. Andi masino kumalawi kuno chali chathu tili ndi national, ili pa national level, ili pa regional level, ili pa district. Ineyo mbuyomu ndinali national overseer of Christ Citadel in Malawi. Ngati national overseer ndikuti mmang'anira machalichi wonse, ndili tu judge, ndili attorney general, ndili make chair. Do you know, m'Bible limatuza kuti David built the house of the Lord side by side with his own house. God has created us with the ability to do more than one thing at a time. Komanso timadziwa kuti pali nthawi imene timagwira ntchito 7:30 masiku ano to 4:30. Ukapita ku nyumba kuja umakagwira za chalichi. Ine masiku ano sinditengera ntchito ku nyumba. That's why ndimaonetsetsa kuti 7:30, between 7:30 and 8 ndili ku office kuno. Ndimagwira ntchito mwina mpaka 4:30 or 5 ndikupita ku nyumba.
Why? I'm interrupting you because pena pake ndinamva kuti muli attorney general, anthu amene amakutsata ndi kuyamikirani mumatenga ntchito nkhali kupita nayo ku nyumba panopa munasiya chifanya.
Ndili attorney general.
Anthu amati akundiuza choncho.
Ndimagwira ntchito ku office iko mpaka mwina 2 AM ndili mu office.
Lero ndi vice president zimene zamwazisi.
According to the delegated work, I am able to do the delegated work during the office hours. So nthawi imene ndimapanga ma 2 AM uyo ku chalichiko, nthawi imene nali national overseer ndimayendetsa chalichi.
Ndikuti ntchito imene yongwachita ndiyo cheperapo.
There's nothing strange.
Mukuiona ntchito yalo ilo yocheperapo.
Do you know Christianity is a way of life? If your life is based on Christianity, you will do it like breathing. I wake up in the morning, first thing, I read the word and pray, so that I will do well that day. And as I read the word, there are certain scriptures that come to me. On a daily basis, I get scriptures and sermons that I will preach. If you ask me now to preach, I can preach.
Yeah, we have to organize.
Because I read the word in the morning.
Right.
Do you understand? So there's nothing strange. Christianity is a way of life. It's not like a garment. Ndavala, ndikapita kwina kwake ndikavule. I am a Christian in my private life. I am a Christian in my public life. I am a Christian in the church and outside the church.
You just said that maybe
others at
the
large
workload
scale.
You now have the time. So, Komano,
it's not a matter of time.
Right.
Let me tell you something. The work of the Lord is not about time. It's about commitment. You are committed to do the work of the Lord, you will find time. And also, what we have to know as Christians, a serious Christian will not steal government time to go and do church work. Because God will not look at it kindly. You are stealing. You are getting money that you have not worked for.
Now it looks like I've unleashed the senior pastor. The senior pastor in you. Komano muna kungofusa kuti wadi experience imene mwakhala nayo ngati lawyer, experience imene muli nayo ngati dindo ku church, experience imene mwakhala nayo ngati attorney general, chair wameki, mukuona kuti ikuthandizani motani kugwira ntchito ya mu office imene mwalowa. tsopanoyi?
Life is about law. There is no life without law. There's the law of breathing. If you infringe that law, you say, I will hold my breath, I will not breathe out, you will die. So law is very, very important. There's the law of God, the law of man. And for your information, I preached at a church about human rights. You know that they all come from the Bible? You shall not kill. We say the right to life. What does the right to life say? Do not kill. We should share food. That is the right to life. We should love those that do not have. So when you really study the word of God, you find that all the laws, they come from there. And you read the philosophers, Hume, Descartes, and all of them, the philosophers. It is all the word of God. Some of them believed God, others didn't. But it's all the work of God. So the influence maybe as a VP is that the Bible tells me to be truthful, to be honest, and God hates corruption, is stealing. All those are there. And that's what the law of the land says as well. We have a whole anti-corruption, an act on corrupt practices. We have the criminal, the penal code and the like. So when you take the totality of my legal background, that's the way of life. There's no life without laws. Even in your own house when you are growing up, you knew when to go out and when to come back. If you came back after a certain time, you unleash the anger of your parents, isn't it?
Of course.
So from birth, life, it's laws. And those that infringe the law, they do disservice to themselves because the law protects. For me, I love the law. It protects.
I'm happy you're saying that. If we are out on the streets, we debate yaikulu nditu from the time that the DPP got into government, especially pamene munayamba kupanga ma appointment anthu apa pakhale uje apa pakhale uje anthu akuona kuti apa pamwana kuti you love the law, koma anthu akuona kuti mwina ziganizo zina zimene mapanga mwina sizomvetsetseka mmene mwina mapangira appoint mwina mkulu waku MRA, mkulu waku SCB komwe kunena inoku ena alipo amene mwayika mwina mkabineti ali ndi milandu mukoti, milandu yawo sinaweruzidwe. You love the law?
Yes, you are innocent until proved guilty. That's what the law says. So has anyone with a conviction been put in any place?
Maybe not. Are you going to appoint people kena kuti zaona kumaendera kumapita ku court? Sitimva kapena kuti mina milandu yawo basi yata.
How? No.
We need that assurance from your office. You are the vice president of this country.
No, you must know you are innocent until proved guilty. And you should not curtail people's rights. All those people, they have got their human rights. In as much as you want to enjoy your human rights, they also want to enjoy it. You cannot say you will not do this, you will not do this because you are in a court. I have come across cases where even witnesses were framed up, and in cross-examination, they crumble. And the word of God says the first one to state his case seems right until he is cross-examined. In the book of Proverbs, chapter 18, verse 17. So the witnesses have not been cross-examined to know whether they are saying the truth or not. Haven't you heard of people being framed that they have raped somebody and it's a make-up story? You know, we hear all these stories. They are bad when it is us involved. But when it's another person, you want to make a conclusion and make a judgment.
Perhaps kuti anthu akupanga akuajaja kuti ndo anthu andolakwa. Koma kunena kuti chifukwa kuti information iyi ilikale mu public domain, mwina mwake akanawalola kuti akhale ndi mpata ukadzipanga clear mu court muja and then begin again in public life.
Akadzipanga clear bwanji.
Because
look, some of them, when were they indicted? 5 years ago. You mean someone who was indicted 5 years ago and the case was not pursued to an end, that person should be deprived from enjoying their human rights? That is unfair. In any case, a case should not take that long. If they were indicted, they should have prosecuted them there and there. Should we really say 5 years is not long enough?
You're only 3-4 years ago away from practice in the judiciary. What do you think about these things and justice in Malawi?
You know, what I believe, before you indict somebody, it means, not what I believe, that's the practice. Investigations have been done, concluded. By the time you are going to court to indict somebody, it means all the witnesses are there. Now, these people were indicted. What has happened to the government docket that was with the prosecutors then? What is it that stopped them from concluding those matters for 5 good years?
Don't you think this puts you in a fix as an administration, that you have some of your own that must face the law, and perhaps as matters stand, and when as your kid growing them?
It's not a kid growing. That's what I'm telling you. You are not dwelling on the fact that these people were indicted 5 good years. Why the then government did not prosecute them?
Was that part of the factors that led to their appointments? Were these things weighed before these
They
appointments?
are rights.
Right.
If you look at these people, they are members of parliament. Why didn't make disqualify them for being accused persons? It is started with make, isn't it? They could not curtail their human rights. People are talking out there, but have they considered the 5 years that has taken that these cases are not concluded? These cases should have been concluded even in a month, in a year. Because as I'm saying, before you charge anybody, you must have the docket. And that docket has got all the facts, has got all the witnesses. It's a matter of going to court to prove it. What is it that stopped them? And what I would ask is, were they really genuine? Did they have a docket? Did they have witnesses? That's the other side of the coin.
So now as government, you're likely to pick these things up and probably speed up the processes so that they are freed.
Yes, speed up the processes. That's what I'm saying. There are two sides of a coin. When you go to indict somebody, you must have a full docket. That you can, they will plead guilty today, and you ask for date of hearing because everything was there. I was a prosecutor myself. I started as a state advocate. And what we were doing in those days, we were not, murder cases were tried in a traditional courts. Before they will charge people in the traditional court, all the murder cases used to come to the DPP's office, and we are the ones that would go through the evidence, read all the witness statements, and determine whether there was a case against the person or not. And I don't think the practice is different. It's not. It is the same. So that's one side of the coin.
Right.
The other side of the coin, for the then government to take 5 years not to conclude these cases, is there evidence in the docket? Now, when the people find out that some people have been discharged, they will say, oh no, because they are covering them up. No, they should ask themselves, why is it that these cases were not concluded in the 5 years of the MCP government? Were they just made up charges, trumped up charges? You know, as we are talking on the streets, we must look at both sides. As if I am Malawi, tisamangokhala ngati anthu oti sitidaphunzire sitidapite ku sukulu, tisamangokhala ngati anthu oti sitiganiza, tifunse kumisewu kumene zikunenedwako kunena kuti nchifukwa chiyani ngati anthu adana anapanga zinthuzo zatenga dzaka 5 dzaka 5 itu sizamasewera munthu kumapita makachita answer bail mabelo ajatu ma conditions a bail amakhala osiyana-siyana ena every week amapita ukachita present ndilipo ena kamodzi pamwezi ena anatengera mapassport awo asayende chifukwa choti akukambiridwa milandu 5 years anthu amene usanatuluke Malawi muno chifukwa choti mapassport analanda. Is that fair? Ndiye tikamayankhula m'mastreet imu tidzifunsanso ndi chifukwa chiyani zatenga dzaka 5 milandu yonseyo yosatha, komanso ndi chifukwa chiyani meki yalola kunena kuti apikisane nawo pano ndi ma MP. Tsopano anthu akuganiza za mcabinet dzoka bwanji sakunena zakuti zaku parliament kuno kuti anthu ali ndi mabelo mthumba kodi ku parliament ko akatiyimirira akatikambira zoona zokhazoka.
Right, Honorable.
That is also public service.
As an expert at law, besides being vice president, are you predicting that some of these cases could be discharged?
Definitely. They could be discharged. They could be discharged. If there is no evidence on the docket, definitely these people must be let free, set free. People should, I'm emphasizing, people should ask, why has it taken 5 years?
Right. Never linkani mene ndinamba kuamba iji, ama appointment. Appointment, for example, yaku MRA, appointment yaku SCB. Zina mazimene zingakale ya Malawi Law Society. Ayankhulapo nditu, because my issues, I mean, yaku panga touch on my procedures, ndondomeko, yakachitidwe kazintu. As a seasoned lawyer yourself, are you okay? Are you comfortable in the manner the head of MRA and the head of SCB were appointed?
They are in acting capacity. Should there be a vacuum? An acting person cannot be confirmed. When all the procedures are followed, people go for interviews, and even for SCB, the SCB will be confirmed by Parliament. So, should there be a vacuum? No. Let the people act in those positions.
Has that been the advice you would give to the president? The two of you are seasoned lawyers, actually. Is this the understanding between the two?
Yeah, you know, there was a statement by, is it the minister, that they are in the acting position. Isn't it? Mm-hmm. It's there in the public domain.
Chabwino, mdziko lino muli malamulo muwatsata bwino inuyo okhuzana ndi adindo mboma ndi kupanga declare mwina chuma chimene ali nacho. Has this been done or you're in the process of doing it?
Yeah, it will be done. There's someone, an office that is responsible for that. That office has not yet come with the necessary forms, and I'm sure it will be done.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
You know, you are saying 2
yes,
months. When were we, when did we take oath?
I'm saying 2 months. For me, it starts from the day I went voting.
No. Don't mislead. There was a 7 days, 10 days where we took our oath of, it's barely 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
This is our 4th week in the office.
Right. So you still have time to...
So 3 weeks.
Right.
We are in the process of doing everything. And you have heard the addresses by His Excellency Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika. He has said, you know, put forward, you know, the things to be done immediately in the short term, medium, and then long term. Right. And you know, all these things, they are pertaining to everything. We are trying to find our feet on the ground. Right. And in due course, everything will be done.
Right. Earlier, we spoke about the fact that office here, vice president, is a delegated office. and then we digressed a bit kupita kunkhani ya reforms ndi zina zote. Ndimafuna ndidziwe kuti inuyo mukuona kuti mudzakwanitsa bwanji luso limene muli nalo, luntha limene muli nalo, the expertise you have, the experience ndi zina zonsezi, kuti muzipange unleash bwinobwino pamene mudzayenera kudikira kaye kuti mutumidwe.
But that's the law. Do you want me to work outside the law? I don't do that. The president has got the prerogative of running this country. And where he sees fit to be assisted by me, he delegates, he will delegate. I will not work outside the law.
Some people feel kuti ngakhale lamulo lili choncho, maybe tili ndi anthu ngati inuyo osatiso kutali amene track record yawo mili takambirana kumwe machokera, a lawyer, professor being an attorney general, mbusa wakulu wa mpingo, munakhalapo chairman wa MEC, kenako mungokhala pampando kudikira kuti wina akutumira. How does it feel when you are an active person all your life? I mean, you just said it yourself here kuti mwina panopa mukumaweruka kunthawi yabwino pamene anthu amene macheza nawo pokonzekera interview amandiuza kuti ukasamale, that woman is a hard worker, she's a workaholic, amanyamula ntchito kumapita ku nyumba amandithandiza kuti ndikumvetseni bwino. Now I'm feeling sitting here looking at you kuti mwina mwangokhala simutha kupanga zimenezo chifukwa chakuti lamulo likunena kuti muyenera kutumidwa ndi president.
Yes, there are specific jobs. But since I've been here, I've been having courtesy calls, I've been having meetings. I just had a meeting with the vice president of the World Bank this morning. And today you are here because we haven't put meetings. So the work here, it involves meetings, you know, talking to people here and there. And that is not outside the delegation. I know His Excellency knows that I have these meetings, and I report to him. I have had this meeting because some of the meetings that I have, he has to know what we have discussed so that he can take action. So I'm not going to give people to have meetings with me at midnight at my house. That is why the work ends here. I have the meetings here. I am doing the desk work here.
Right.
That is all.
It's a fact and it's on record in this country. My relationship, our president and vice wake, samatha bwino. Kuyambira nthawi ya Dr. Justin Malewezi to the last one, Dr. Michael Usi. Pamonika kuti makhala friction. How are you working? How are you hoping to work? Kuti you should be the odd one out. Kuti munazantundu menewo. Zisadza kuchitikira.
I will answer you in one word: transparency.
Would you want to expand on that? Transparency on which side? On your side? On the other side? Or where?
I will not do anything behind the principle. We must understand the office. We must understand what we are on about. And it is that communication between the president and the vice president. I don't know what transpired before, but I don't see any fallout. Mm-hmm. When I was at the Attorney General, he was my minister.
Yes.
We worked very well together, and I don't think this time around, because I'm VP, it should be different.
By the way, would you want to disclose how he got to get you to be his running mate?
I don't know. He decided.
What happened? Did he give you a call? Did he? What happened exactly?
I don't know. He chose.
What exactly happened?
No, he asked for my CV maybe 4 weeks before, among other CVs.
Right.
And I just stayed. I was going about in my constituency. Then I was coming to Cheo. When I got here, I was tired. It's the day I went to submit my papers.
Right.
And then he sent a text message that it is settled, you are the running mate. I got it, I read it around 9:10.
How did it feel? Did you believe it?
Someone will contact you tomorrow morning. And
There was
someone
no
will
prior
tell
Zokambirano before that?
you. No.
Were you a member of the DPP at that time? At what point did you become a member of the DPP? I'm asking this because remember, you were also the chairperson of MEC not long ago.
Yes. I became a member last year in August.
You know, after...
I joined. You remember I joined as an independent.
Yes.
And
then you started seeing pictures in Chewu with you wearing the...
yes.
At that time you had joined the DPP.
Yes. And the people that invited me, it's not the DPP people. And in fact, one of them, when I joined the DPP, he said, I am disappointed you have not joined the MCP.
Okay. Zinachitika bwanji, amaganiza bwanji.
I don't know. They called me and they said, we want to come and visit you in the UK. I said, why? He said, oh, we are thinking that we should form a political party and you should be our presidential candidate.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, anyway, I'm coming there. So he said, okay, since you're already coming, we will pay for your ticket. When you come, we will give you the money. I said, yes. I came, I talked to them. And then, that was, I think, in March. I was here for a short time. I went back. So, eventually, I joined the DPP. The reason is that when I started, I didn't know anything about they call areas.
Mm-hmm.
So the people that were running on the ground, they said, oh, we must make areas. Oh, we need 300,000. We need this. I said, am I going to manage?
But you were MEC chair. You didn't know these things when you were at MEC? That these people, this is what they do
The areas?
on the ground,
No.
they form areas?
We deal with candidates.
Mm-hmm.
We deal with aspiring candidates at MEC, not into the intricacies of politics. That, so I said, so they were telling me, you know, MCP, this is their structure, DPP, this is their structure, so I said, I don't think, I think I'm better off to join a party where the structures are already there, the areas. So I said, where do I go? I pulled out a manifesto, an old manifesto for MCP, UTM, and the DPP. And I saw that what the DPP was standing for is what I stand for.
Mm-hmm.
You know, my PhD thesis is on the right to development.
Human rights.
And the right to development talks of development. For you to have development, you must also have justice and security. The three, development, justice, security, they go together.
Mm-hmm.
So when I looked at it, I was at home. That's my area.
But did it occur to you, mwina mage decision menda banga kugaima ndi APM kujisanko mwina ikozo banga invoke zina zinachitika kumbuyo, people start kuganiza kuti now here we are anthu analikale adibebe tikatengira zimene zakhazo chitika kumbuyo.
How long have you been with Zodiak?
Quite some time.
Were you there in 2019?
Yes, I was.
Did the Zodiak announce and confirm the results?
Well, Vice President, then we'll turn this interview around. I still want you to be the Vice President and me the report.
I want to ask you,
right.
Zodiak, MBC, Times, they all announced and confirmed the results. At the end of the day, were those results different from what MEC announced?
My issue, I'll go back to my question.
Do you understand? No.
Yes, I do. I do get your
so,
point.
the point I want to tell you is that what went on in 2019-2020 was a narrative. was a narrative. Because what Times announced, you know, this year, was it different from what Meg announced? So the point I want to make to you is that everybody that went to court that time, they exactly knew that they had lost. Because where the broadcasting houses get their results to announce as unconfirmed results, they get them from the polling station. And at the polling station, there are monitors. Every political party has a monitor. And when the results come out, they write on the results sheet. Every monitor has the results. For me, I knew I had not won in Incheo before you even knew. Because I had the results from my monitors. So that's why I say it's a narrative. Right. People were determined to take the government away from His Excellency when they knew they had failed. At the court, you know, President Chakwera retired. They asked him, did you have a talent center? He said no, which is a lie. No political party will take a risk of having no talent center. Even diplomats, they have talent centers. Broadcasting houses, they have talent center. And in all those cases, no broadcaster came to say we had different results. The results were the same. From the diplomats, all broadcasting houses and everybody. The TPEX was found at the talent center, not at the polling station, which is the origin of the results and the origin of the announcement by everybody. So that was the narrative.
Actually,
I knew the truth.
Right.
I knew there was no such thing as rigging. And I had no fear to join the DPP because I knew the truth. And I know that now people know the truth. Because the results of 2020 were not different from the results of 2019. It's only that people came together. So, if somebody today is feigning to say that there was rigging, they just want to remain in ignorance from a bad heart. But if you fear the Lord, God will judge you people.
Right.
God will judge you. If He has not judged you already.
But that manager, Munali chair, make.
Yes.
To this day, His Excellency the President, ABM, describes that announcement of the elections as a coup, as a judicial coup. You like saying that? You agree with him?
100%.
It was a coup.
And he's not the only one. Someone else, I've forgotten the name. He has written about Malawi having a judicial coup. And someone from university, the first write-up I saw was a professor from University of Derby who wrote an article on the results. So people know. You know. Everybody knows in Malawi. Even the people in the village, they know. APM, myself, were immediately vindicated by the results of 2020.
You were on the campaign trail more in terms of physical presence than the president himself. And you have just said here that you got to know you were in the race very close to the election itself. How easy was it for you to tell the DPP story? I mean, being a fairly new member of the group.
DPP has a manifesto. And all I did was to tell people what was in the manifesto. If you follow my campaign trail, it was the DPP manifesto. So it was not difficult to sell because I had the manifesto in my hands. I read it, I understood it, I conveyed the message to the people of Malawi.
Right. Mukayangana kumbuyo, zilipo zina zake in your life, zimene mumaganiza kuti if I had another chance, ichi nkanachichita mosiyana ndi mmene nachichitira.
No. I am happy.
Okay.
I did what I did as Attorney General.
Right.
I did what I did as a judge. I did what I did as a make chair. You know, the bottom line is the fear of God and to keep the law of God. When you keep the law of God, you will not be in conflict with the law of the land. Truthfulness, discipline, integrity, faithfulness. You begin with God and end up with the people.
ena mwa amene ndimacheza nawo pamene tikupita komaliza kwa kucheza kwathu abanduza za ntchito zimene magwira outside all these things za chifundo kuthandiza anthu abanduza several things. How passionate are you about reaching out to other people, and what do you derive, what joy do you derive from this?
I have always grown up as a passionate person. I'm second born in my family. My father died when I was in third year, fourth year at college. And the responsibility of looking after the younger ones fell on my shoulders together with my two other sisters. And the sufferings that we went through, property grabbing and the like, was not easy. But I have always felt strongly for the disabled, people that are different from others, the aged. And I started a long time ago. You know, charity begins at home. I told myself that I will assist those less fortunate than myself. For a long time, I had adopted 3 widows. I was providing for them, even in hospital bills and everything else. I will take them to the hospital, provide food, and helped orphans, helped the deprived. Like now, I started with a certain family. They had the twins right from the village. But the twins were the third born. They had 2 others. So I used to provide for them. But in the end, I saw that the whole family needed food. So I was buying food for the whole family. And those twins, now they are in standard 5. Right there near the border with Mozambique. You know, the word of God, I looked at Joseph. When he was in Egypt, how much did he ask the people to provide? It was 20% of the food that he was keeping away. And I look at the 20%, so I give my tithe, which is 10%, and the 10% is also offering. That offering, I divide it, I give some to the church, and I give some to charity. So I started also working with the albinos. When I was Attorney General, I was getting schools, putting them in schools. And the President, Chief Secretary, he was with the Minister of Education. That's the one I used to go to liaise with. There's this albino girl, there's this albino man. Right now, I'm paying school fees for 2 at Denza. There's one who is not Denza, Bunda. Right. There's one that is even a teacher at Bunda. It's my young brother who sponsored him to go to university. He's got a degree. So I have always worked with the disabled, the albinos, and the aged. And in fact, I have a foundation, Ansah Foundation.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Right. Look, I didn't know about that.
You didn't know?
No, I didn't.
It was mostly working in Cheu and Bunda among the albinos. I use I've not launched it, but I will launch it soon.
Right. And maybe
because
my
I
last
want
question,
to move it, just not from Cheu, but it should go everywhere. Everybody should now participate. I'm now operating at national level, not at the constituency level.
Right. We'll make a follow-up to those things in our later programs. But maybe my very last question, I can't leave the stage without asking how you are juggling all this work with family. Obviously, your family is used to you, is used to having you around. Most times, you may have to travel now, maybe far from home for longer times. And
It's not strange. My family has always been like that from the word go.
All right.
My husband, he was working as a consultant. He was in Italy, Geneva, Zimbabwe, South Africa. That's why my 2 children were born in Zimbabwe,
Right.
because he was working there as a consultant. Now, my last born is what? 37?
Oh,
He's a man.
she's a woman. Yeah.
He's a man.
Right.
He's the one who was, that tall young man who was assisting my husband.
Yes, at the inauguration.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
my son.
Yeah.
And all the 3 children, they are all working. They're independent. I have my husband, so it's the 2 of us at home.
Ayi ndikuthokozeni kwambiri Madam Vice President, sendikuzitenga zapafupi kuti munatipatsa mpata kuti tidzacheze nawo nanu. Ndikudziwa kukula kwa ntchito imene mukugwira, so ndikuthokozeni kwambiri. Amenewo ndi Dr. Jane Ansah, amene ndi wachiwiri kwa president wa dziko lino. Kufikira nthawi ina pamene tidzakupatsireniso program ya Zodiac Exclusive, ndine Gabriel Kamulomo. Zikomo.